Money rule number one: money solves all of your money problems. Very true, right, Bart? It is true. I don't know why I opened up with the money rule. I know that I have several money rules that I've applied to my own life. One of which is money rule number two: get rich first. Is that number two or number three? I don't know. I always lose track. I should put them up on a bulletin board in front of me. Get rich first. Don't try to look rich. Don't try to act rich, but actually get rich first. And then if you want to look rich, use your assets, your dividends, your rental properties, your stocks, all of your assets to pay for your lavish Rolex watches and fancy automobiles. So that rolling that Citigroup call inspired me to take a closer look at the Coterra Energy 2550 call, because right now, what is it doing? It's just hovering around being called away, right? So it's at 2569. If we looked to roll it out, I thought we like Coterra because they pay sweet dividends. If you look at their dividend history, the last round, we collected this special dividend of 37 cents a share plus their quarterly fixed at 20 cents. So that was 57 cents a share. If we look to last year, now there's no guarantee they're going to pay another special dividend, but according to their pattern, they very well could. So if we look at last year, it was in May that they paid a nice special dividend plus their fixed quarterly. So they had the two double dip right there in May. So if and they paid their previous one in March, which is what they did this year was March. It was middle of March. If that holds true, and maybe you add a week to this and it's towards the end of May, should we attempt to lock in the next dividend as well and keeping Coterra Energy in our pocket? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at it now. What is our position again? Okay, 2476, but we do have 800 shares out there, all of which are spoken for on the calls. So we have today's expiration, one contract, 2550. If we look into that trade to roll it out past what we project the next dividend collection to be, so we'd have to go out in this May 26th range, 42 days out. Let's look at it. 42 days, we have to cover this debit of 23 cents, right? If we just stayed at the 2550, we would collect this sweet credit that would put $107 approximately into our pocket, and then also lock in that next dividend. Even if it's a standard dividend of 20 cents, that's still $20 bills, right? So worst case scenario would be around $127. You know what? Let's take a look. Covered call roll. Got a big spread there on the bid and ask. If we should be able to get that. What's the deal? 105? How could 105 be low likelihood of filling? Dollar? High likelihood. So it's $100 that we didn't have going into this roll. Roll that thing out, keep the shares, add another dividend, and $100 credit. Okay, so at Phil, we got our $100. If say it's just Fantasyland, okay, if we were dealing with Fantasyland, which is what I like to deal with, and it's the same double dip, it's 57 cents total on the next dividend. That would be $57, right? Plus the 100 we just collected, and then go back to what we actually are in on this, man, an average of 24.76. So let's use that math, right? So with dividend and the Fantasyland and the $100 we just collected, that's $157. And then we divide it by the 24.76, our average cost basis per share. We get this number, and then we divide it by, what was the what was the number of days? Really, Bart? I don't know. It's like 49 days. And you're probably laughing because it's not, but 49 days multiplied by 365. That's a 47% ilio. We'll take it. We'll take it because again, the play here is I'm sure that I could probably just buy stuff and hold it and make more money than when I'm doing monkeying around. But this is way more fun. So the idea, can I make cash flow? Can I make income? I need to prove that to myself, then share my results to my lovely bride, and then we may even move some more money into action and hopefully then produce more income. So that's the thought. Just what can I do? I've been semi-retired for 6 years, and in the very beginning of that, I didn't really need anything to do. I have two great superpowers, one of which is I don't suffer from what is it called? FOMO, fear of missing out. I don't suffer from that at all, like a lot of people do. In fact, I have a philosophy called LOMO, which is the love of missing out. And part of the basis for that philosophy is if you ever find yourself in a position where you don't really know what to do next, stop, take a deep breath, look around at what everyone else is doing, and then do the opposite. Excuse me. Do the opposite. So that's the part of the foundational aspect of my philosophy called LOMO, the love of missing out. So one of my superpowers is I do not suffer from FOMO. The other superpower is I don't get bored. Is that your statement? Yeah, it's just that is the statement. I just don't get bored. I could never remember one time in my life, aside from school, of course, I mean, that's a given. But I could never remember any time where I was actually bored. Like my friends will say, because they don't know. They think they find out, because I don't like to tell anybody except you. They find out that you really don't work. And then like, well, what do you do all day? Well, let me ask you, what do you do when you're not working? That's the answer. That's what I do all day. Do whatever I want, which is my favorite way to live. So in that thought, though, I still want to feel productive. I don't have to be productive, but I still like to feel productive. That's how we are wired biologically as human beings, is to be productive, to feel productive. We want to contribute to our society, contribute to the well-being of ourselves and our families. So I still want to do that. And that's what led me to the dividends and the options, because I got into cars for a while out of the blue, and I bought a 1991 Mustang GT convertible. I bought a brand new Mustang Mach 1. And then I'm like, hey, remember baseball cards? I accidentally stumbled into an old stack of baseball cards that I thought I had sold. I thought I sold all of my baseball collection back in 2016. That's another story I'll save for another day. But I ran into an old shoebox with baseball cards, found my original Ricky Henderson rookie, and almost cried. And that's not a joke. I'm not ashamed to admit it. A card that I pulled pack fresh as a kid in the back of Swanson's Dairy, which was this little convenience store walking distance to my house. Me and my buddies used to go down there, and I never had any money, so I'd spend a week trying to collect a quarter, go down and buy a pack of Topps baseball cards. Pulled Ricky Henderson, pack fresh in 1980. He's he has been my favorite baseball player ever since. So I got into baseball cards for a while, but then I realized I don't like to just have stacks of baseball cards around. I love to look at them. I love to buy them. I love to bid on them on eBay. I love to rip them fresh out of packs, but I really don't need a bunch of them. So I was like, oh, well. And it wasn't productive. All it did was cost money. So here I am, stocks and options. Not sure why I went off onto that little story, but I do. It's because I wanted to find something I could do for the rest of my life. And I think I have. I think I've stumbled into it with these stocks and options, but I got to prove that I can do it, be profitable, be productive without it causing stress in my life. Cause I gave that up years ago. I gave that up along with that sugar water, Pepsi. So there you have it. Thanks for tuning in. I got to run off now to that meeting with the accountants, and hopefully I won't come back weeping like Ben Stiller in Something About Mary. What about Brett Favre? if you've seen that movie and you know the exact scene I'm talking about, well, you're pretty cool. So I will see you in the next video.